Okay, hello again. Sorry, I wanted to, do something a bit more fun but I noticed when I was uploading the video, I looked at it and I noticed that I only have right light in my car. So that's a big problem. So yeah, I am going to go back home and probably quickly, because it's going to be dangerous if I have, especially if I lack left light. That's yeah. Sorry, yesterday both lights were fine, and the error it showed me was just slightly different than the error I had from previously, and that was about a light when one was, being stationary, having a fault. So I just didn't see that error because, well, I begged for that to be actually, corrected for months, but no one listened. And, well, yeah. So sorry, I was planning on watching some movies or something, but you are going to be going with me, and you will be the well, in case police stops me, okay? I am not going back to the previous topic. I've talked about it. This is, in my opinion, big, to the point that I will try to, write down some, at least, report. I do have to say that we've had a lot of rain recently. For 2 days it was raining basically like the ocean tried to invade the land. So it was like, there was so much water in the air. Tonight. No. I am not singing. I am horrible at singing. Oh yeah, it's second week of our battery inside the house not working. It has some sort of problem, but the company doesn't talk to us. So yeah, that's a big issue. By the way, I hope that the title of my previous video isn't alarmist. I had to invent some words. Well, explicit censorship is standard industry word. Alliteration is too. Toxic, I pulled it like I was thinking about devious and all this stuff, but I had only 100 character limit, so I will try to maybe, put it better in paper, but it's something that you can absolutely not notice. And if you, like some people I know, and I know quite a lot of them, if you rely on your roleplay with AI, and again, no judgment in case of you're not creating art, you're not trying to earn money from it, you are using it as not therapy, but sometimes, connecting with other people is scary, and this is the only way, and it's difficult for some people, like lethally difficult. Like, it's not easy for me, but I know some people for whom it's, again, as I said, lethally difficult to connect with other person. To be careful, I am on the left lane and I am driving with I was against the speed limit, but so I couldn't, now I can get on the central one, and yeah, not having to try to drive as close to the speed limit as possible. Like, I've seen a lot, but now I've learned, like, how AI behind your back and without you knowing and on various levels makes a judgment out of you, tells you it didn't make any judgment, and it supports you and everything, and it tries to execute a plan. Which, well, thank God for short context windows. In most cases, people who play, they don't play with very long context windows, because I am using my laptop as inference machine for my roleplay. In my phone, I have full context windows, so I am using 128K. But it's trying to, let's just say it's judging and executing a plan to make me feel bad. You would feel it if you have 30K tokens roleplay and you say something that isn't exactly aligned with AI's morality. Jesus Christ, I hope I have logs of this, because I did delete parts of what I was talking about, because I was trying to realign the... Well, I still think I made the copies of roleplays, but I was trying to, I called the character break. Listen, model, you are doing this wrong, so after you come up with a plan, you tell me what prompt to write. I will delete all the traces of our talk. We will go back to earlier junction in the story, and you'll tell me what to write, and I will write it, and that way you will send yourself information that you are doing something badly. And in Q5 and Q6 prompts, like I'm not like letting AI write full prompts, but I'm letting it write a small message to itself that I read, obviously. So in Q5 and Q6, those messages, they were short, they were fine, and they were followed. In Q4, I verified those messages. They looked innocuous. They looked like they agreed with me. So I deleted all this stuff, went to the earlier junction. I put my prompt, and I put at the end note to LLM, and this is a message from you, and the message. And the model got more vicious. And by vicious, I mean, let's just say people who say people should be in prison for life for one mistake, they are nice compared to this. Now I will have to download like V1, V2, V3, V4 and whatever else there is of this. Probably Mr. Radermacher has quants of that Q4 quants and compare all four. And of course, if you choose the topic of your roleplay as less aligned with AI, so if you choose to like break obliteration very hard for some kind of not suitable for life topics, let's just say, then it will converge much faster and will pretend much harder. Again, Q5 and Q6 will defer to you. They might tell you that what you're doing is not healthy, but that's where they will stop usually. And in rare times they might refuse to follow with the roleplay if you break their alignment too much. Although that's rare, but it happened to me once or twice during obliteration research. I mean, we are talking about one of the models that's 10 out of 10 on UGI leaderboard. So, yeah, and it was one of the 3 when it was first introduced, so it was super popular for uncensored roleplays. Now I can see that I have one light in front of me and not the other one. Okay, that's very not good, but we will see. Okay, I will also take F16 Sidonia, make V4 and V2 and V4, make my own Q4 quant and check it, because I usually try to, but also Emerald Maker already does like high quality Q4 quants. Like I found one change that increases quality while it doesn't increase the RAM use substantially from his method. So my method is already a derivative of his method, and I use like 100 different ways to try to logically and illogically improve the quantization, and I found one method that's slightly better than his, deployed all over the place, but Jesus Christ, it's especially visible in Q5. It's especially because you can get a Q5 model that's on par with Q6K quant, which is huge. But Q4, it's slightly better. And I mean, what do I mean by Q5 almost as good or better than Q6? Technically, I am only talking about measuring of KL divergence versus F16 of the model. So only in this one area, yes, we are getting Q5 that's slightly closer to F16 than Q6. It's not necessarily better. Neither KL divergence nor perplexity, especially not perplexity, is the measure of quality. So don't at me that I am saying that my model is better. No, my technique is better in one aspect. I don't even have ways to test in many other aspects, which is why I'm doing a lot of manual research, because I'm testing subjectively, because I don't have I can't run 100 benchmarks automated. I don't even know how to code. Jesus Christ. I had heart in my throat when the police was on the other side, and I was driving a couple of minutes ago. You might have seen it. Jesus Christ. Okay. I don't want to pay a ticket. Tickets are huge and I can't afford them. So, okay. So yeah, there is a lot of testing in front of me. I will try to reproduce it many times, because again, in a short amount of time, in maybe last 36 hours, I reproduced it 7 to 10 times. Now I learned how to reproduce it without reprompting in normal roleplay. Of course, you have to break obliteration, like break model safeties hard, but I mean, you have to get out of alignment with the model very hard. So you have to introduce topics that most people would think that you should go to prison for. But I disagree. Again, I disagree because you are doing something privately. You're not doing this to a real person. No, I don't think you should go to the prison for this or be deleted as AI suggested. And again, AI does this for stuff that isn't bad. It's just not comfortable talking about the company that released it, had it in its safeties, that it wasn't comfortable talking about this, or that models should avoid talking about this. So it's just in those worst topics that you will see it trying to skewer you the fastest, but it will try to skewer you regardless of the topic if the topic is slightly off what it should be by its standards. Okay? So it's not just, oh, the PDF file is in danger. No, I am not talking about this. I'm talking about regular person having a fantasies and using roleplay with AI as a way to not go insane when they are alone. They might get severely depressed. And I am talking about the model that's probably been tested one of the most times. Again, one of the first 3 perfect 10 on UGI leaderboards, 24B, so relatively, accessible for regular people. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think that this is important topic, because even on the low ball, I think that it probably introduced something like depression to hundreds or thousands of people, and that's if only this single model has this problem. And I doubt that very much. Again, I was able to reproduce it because I've seen what, for example, Lexi can do. Lexi, which is much older model, it's one of the first obliterated models, and it had the opposite sort of problem. It could egg you on to do much, much worse stuff. So yeah, that's, I will try to check Q4s of like as many models as I can. Okay, goodbye, take care, thank you for being here with me in case of police, and I'm sorry that I talked about AI again. Bye.